We are here on Holden Today with famous inventor and electrical genius Nikola Tesla. Nikola, welcome to Holden Today. You moved to the United States when you were 28 years old. Tell me what that was like.
The United States was much more dirtier and grimier than many places that I had previously lived, and I had to learn the English language as well as become a naturalized citizen.
So you came over here for a job working for Thomas Edison, but you only stayed at that job for 6 months. Why did you leave?
I left because we had a little issue where he said that if anyone could redesign a certain generator, he would give an added bonus to her salary. But when I had done the work and presented it to him, he said it was a practical joke. So I was fed up and went and started my own business.
And when you had your own business, what kind of things did you work on? What did you invent?
I worked on Tesla coils, a Tesla coil, a alternating current motor, as well as the RC boat. An RC boat, just as a proof of concept that things can be used wirelessly.
So tell me about your Tesla coil. What did you invent the Tesla coil for?
The Tesla coil was to have wireless lighting in a house or facility, and also various appliances. We would have one out in our backyard, and it would send electricity to the different appliances and lighting. But the only reason that we don't have that in the day and age of 2020 is because if you were to intercept or get in the way of one of the beams, you would have a very bad time if you were hit.
You would get electrocuted by the
Yes.
flying electricity as it was coming to your refrigerator?
Yeah, you don't want to try. Would you rather have life or frozen meat?
I'd rather be alive.
Yeah,
So,
me too.
you said that you invented a remote control wireless boat too.
It was a proof of concept to show that electricity or electrical currents could be sent without a wire to control various objects.
So it wasn't a full-size boat, it was like
No.
a model boat. Okay. But it worked.
Yeah, it did work.
And what were people's reactions? Were they totally surprised that you could control this boat with no wires?
Well, it had never been done before, so obviously people are surprised when they see something new that has never been done before.
Sure.
It's with everything.
And
new.
and so you also in your lifetime talked about that we would have these little devices that we'd carry around with us and it would allow us to communicate with each other, but they'd be totally wireless. What did people think of that?
They did not believe it because even though I had made a boat that could do it, they still were like, this is not going to happen.
They didn't think a telephone could happen without wires.
Because since before then, you had to use wires to transmit electricity from point A to point B. It had never been done before that it was just going through the air.
And so if you could invent something for us now in 2020, what would you invent for us that would help us?
I would invent a cure, well, kind of a cure for the coronavirus. So, when you wash your hands with soap and water and you have the coronavirus on your hands, what happens is it has these little receptors, and what they do
The
is...
soap has receptors?
No, the virus, I'm sorry. The soap does not have receptors.
Okay, the
It's
virus.
not alive. The virus has receptors.
Okay.
Well, not really receptors, but like little tentacle type things that go onto the receptors in your lungs, and the cells in your lungs, which allow it to basically hijack that cell, and it tells it just make more of the little coronavirus cells. But it's made enough. It tells it to self-destruct, and it does that.
How does it do this? How does each of the little virus cells, what is it doing inside your lungs?
It's basically slowly making a hole in the lining.
But how does it do that? Tell me what.
What it does is it basically tells it's basically its way of reproducing. It has DNA inside that tells it how to make another one of itself. And so it gives that to the cell and says, can you build this? And it's like, yeah. And so it starts building more and more and more. And it tells it self-destruct, and it's like, okay, whatever, and just self-destructs.
And what does that do to your lungs?
It can very severely damage it. One cell, with the immune system, sometimes it does tell infected cells to self-destruct, but in a controlled way that destroys the virus as well. But this is to tell it self-destruct, but don't destroy us in the process. And so it then sends out to the other ones and does the exact same thing. So that it rises in quantity of the little virus cells, and in the process destroys your lungs lining, and which can make it hard to breathe and can cause pneumonia.
And what is pneumonia?
It is when your lungs fill with your own bodily fluids and you drown.
In your own fluids?
Yes,
sadly.
yes.
Oh, that sounds horrible. So how would you get this, how would you get it into the body? You didn't talk about that.
It would be in like a pill. Like it would have like a little coating around it that would dissolve off.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have little nanobots in it that would identify.
Oh.
It would identify the different coronavirus cells and would have a little surgical laser on it that would just surgically remove the little receptors. Well, they're kind of like receptors, but they're more like tentacles because there's like receptors. There's like little tentacles and receptors, and they latch on, and that's how it gets into your cell.
And so your nanobot would laser them off of the virus.
Which is basically what soap does, but it would be in a more of a controlled and efficient, precise way. And then inside your body.
So once you have all of these coronaviruses in your body that you've lasered off their tentacles, what happens to them then?
They're basically a little ball of protein with some DNA, which are the instructions on how to build another one itself. But since it can't latch on to a host cell, it cannot reproduce, and eventually it will die.
Wow. Well, that is fascinating, Nikola Tesla. Is there anything else you would like to tell our viewers of Holden Today?
I think that will be it.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming today.